We are going to make you feel pretty this morning. See, she's laughing already.
That's
Rebecca
right.
Latham is back on the show. She has the House of Color. And she came walking into the studio this morning, and she just brought color and joy and optimism into our studio. So good to see you
Oh,
again.
good to see. And a little animal print, too.
A little,
I can't help
bit of
myself.
bling.
Yeah, always.
So
always.
the last time you were here, we talked at the House of Color. You do just that. You help people with the coloring of their makeup and their clothing, right?
Right.
To make that look powerful. But then you go into the style component, and that's what you want to focus on this morning.
Yeah, so House of Color, we do total transformations. It starts out knowing your best colors because that's going to enhance your skin tone and just make you appear brighter, more alive and fresh. So we love that. But really, if you're in your best colors, that's just step one of the process. What we want to do is when you walk into a room, you not only in your best colors, but whatever you're wearing feels authentic to you and sends a message of who you are.
Okay.
It is just primal that we make assumptions, visual assumptions based on how someone looks. So when I walked in, you obviously made an assumption. Am I in a good mood today? Oh, she looks like she's ready to play. She looks like she might be ready to be a little wild.
Right.
And that's just inherent to protect ourselves. It's a brain mechanism.
Okay, when you were here last time and we talked about the color analysis, one of the things that you stressed was that really all of us can wear every color.
Yeah.
You just have to find your shade.
Exactly.
So for people like me who are a bit more sedate, I'm kind of conservative.
You don't want this
and-
jacket?
Well, I loved what you told. So she said to me, before I did the style assessment that she'll share with us, you would have wanted the jacket, but you would have been afraid to wear it.
Yeah. My personality, no shock to probably anyone that's even seen me on Instagram. I'm a very large personality, but I have a history in finance and in corporate environments. So I really dressed very buttoned up, very traditional. And as I learned my style, I'm not a buttoned up traditional person. I do want to be center stage. I want to be loud. And so for my clothing personality, the bigger, the better, the more theatrical, the more drama is going to feel most authentic to me.
Okay, so you brought with you, I don't want to go out of order for you.
Okay.
So do you want to talk first about the styles, or do you want to talk first about how you measure people? What do you want to start with?
Well, let's do it like we would an appointment.
Okay.
So when we start a style appointment, the first thing we're actually going to do is I want to get to know you. So one of the things we ask everybody is, what is your word for attractive? And because what we're trying to focus on is, how do you want to be perceived? So my word for attractive, surprising to no one, is not only one word, it's two, and I want to be glamorously stunning. So that's my word for attractive. We joke, especially with women who are married, it's not what your husband would actually say, it's what you would want him to say. So my husband would never say, oh, you look stunningly glamorous, but that's what I'd love for him to say. So we find out that to kind of get an idea of what kind of message do you want to send to the world through your clothes. And then what we do with the rest of the assessment is try to build in the puzzle pieces to make sure that message is communicated.
Okay.
So then the next step, and this is what we did a little bit of, which was so fun, is we're going to look at your body shape and your measurements, and we're going to learn how to dress your body, which in House of Color we call this fit of clothes.
Okay.
So if you think about a tablecloth and a table, this is a round table. We probably wouldn't put a square tablecloth on this round table.
Right.
And so same with your body. I have a very square shoulder line, and so if you put clothes that don't have a lot of structure on me, it just looks weird. And I have for years tried to wear those like soft, flowy sweaters. Every time I buy them, I wear them once and then I end up never wearing them again.
Right.
So we talk about fit of clothes. And so for you, we did some of your measurements. We
Yes.
looked at your quadrants and we discovered that you were long-bodied.
Yes.
And you were also small-busted. So
Shocker.
We also will ask if that is your experience, because sometimes you're like, well, I thought I was in proportion. And all this does is inform ways you can dress to give your body more visual proportion and balance.
Okay.
So for you, because you have so much space here, you can add really fun details, really fun pattern, and it's going to look interesting but not cluttered. This is my shortest area, if I wear a lot of things here, it makes my neck look even shorter. So you see, I even have a necklace trying to pull down, give me some visual length here. We also talked about being small busted means that you can wear your purse, you can have a handbag that hits right at your bust, and that's gonna look really nice, but you might not feel as good if you had a handbag hit at your hip.
Right.
So those are just a few things we talk about. And then what we do is we do a personality assessment where we look at kind of how you present in the world. And we use the yin-yang scale to figure this out. So yang would be a very assertive person, yin is more nurturing. Everybody has both. It's not a judgment, it's just kind of who you are. And from there, we'll give you a clothing personality. So these are actually our personality archetypes. They're based on Carl Jung's archetypes, and really it is characters in a story. So if you've ever seen a Disney movie, you've probably seen these characters within the movie. And there's no judgment based on the character. It's great if you're an ingenue. It's fabulous so if you're a classic. We need these characters in our life. It gives it balance. But this is what will drive the style part of your style analysis.
Okay, so I've lived with myself a long time now, so I've kind of figured out a few things. But seeing it in print is a little bit different. So I would definitely be an ingenue.
So yeah, so you probably, and that makes sense. Based on just what you're wearing here, you've got flowers, pretty delicate details. Someone that has some ingenue flavoring will want a small scale. They'll want petite, they're delicate.
But I also could be a natural.
Yeah, and that's why when we give you a clothing personality, it's generally a mix of these two words to give you a lot of options, because no one person is just one thing. And depending on what you're going to, if you're going to a special event, you might play into that ingenue a little bit more. But if you're relaxing on a Saturday and it's cold outside, you might want to play into that natural, which will have those natural fibers. So cozying up in a wool jacket might feel really nice for your natural side.
Okay, so when I'm looking, for example, at the classic, I guess there was a time when I was in my 20s where I would have worn clothes like that a lot, maybe, starting out. But if I was in a pencil skirt and a blazer right now, I would just not feel like me.
Yeah, you'd feel very restricted probably.
Yeah, so is that part of the psychology of this
That's
whole
part,
thing?
yeah, that's part of what we talk to. So each one of these archetypes even has a sabotage. And so all this information, just us talking, would inform me your clothing personality. It's really, with style, it's more of a soup. Color is very much, to use a terrible pun, black and white. But style, we're really mixing in a lot of elements to give you that clothing personality, which will then give some more recommendations.
Okay, so kind of back to this point I was making earlier that with the coloring, everybody can wear the colors, the hues, you just have to find the right one for you.
Right.
Same with style in a way. So if you love the look of jeans and a blazer, but you're like me and you're not a classic, you just find the boho jacket in the natural.
Exactly. So my sister, she's a very different stature from me, very smaller personality. She is a dramatic classic.
Okay.
So she loves the look of classic clothes, the very traditional, but because she has a little bit of dramatic in her, she's going to do an oversized lapel with her traditional trench coat. So that's kind of what we look at, and we give you those guidelines where it's not we're not saying, oh, you always have to have an oversized lapel, but these are things that might make you feel more authentic. And with her, what we did is at the end of the style, I like to come up with a question for you to ask yourself every day you get dressed. And so my question for my sister was, when you get dressed, if it doesn't feel just right, ask, what's my angle? Because she's got a little bit of dramatic. For me, I'm a romantic natural. And so for me, and a trainer taught me this and gave me my question, mine is, how do I rough this up a little bit? So I've got some smooth leather pants on right now, and if I were to wear something smooth on top, it would just all feel too shiny and sleek.
Yeah.
I need some texture.
You need the texture,
to give me some
right.
grounding and make me feel authentic.
Right. Okay, so when you were doing the measurements with me and you did the quadrants,
Yes.
when you got to my leg, you measured to my knee.
Yep.
Then I think you measured my knee to my mid-calf.
Knee to the floor.
Knee to the floor.
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll look at other measurements as well. So one thing I like to do with my clients is we will all have a widest part. That's just how we're all made. And generally we don't want to line at our widest part because it'll make it look even wider. So if we were in my studio, we would be looking in the mirror and talking about, well, is there a widest part of your calf? And looking where that is, and you probably wouldn't want a boot or a pant to end there.
Or a skirt.
Or a skirt.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
okay, so fun fact about my life right now, I'm shopping for a dress to wear to my daughter's wedding, which is no small thing, let me tell you.
No.
And if I want a T-length dress, well, T-length comes in all different lengths.
Right,
So if I
right.
were to have something that hit truly there, I would be sorry.
It
that would be
might
my
not
life.
appear as
It's
it
not the
might
look
add
I'm
width
wanting.
where you don't want it to add width.
Right.
So that might be some of it. It might be, and some of it is just an optical illusion. It's just our eyes playing tricks on us. You're not wide there, but by adding a seam there, just if I draw a line with anything, it gives it a horizontal view.
You know, I would pick your brain all day, and I can't. When people, so real fast, she wanted to point out these fabrics that you brought, because you can just look through your own closet, kind of imagine who you are,
Yeah.
what your type would be, and see how many things when you go into your closet do you just go, oh, I love that, and how many things are you kind of ambivalent on?
Yeah. So one thing we'll look at once we know your clothing personality is we'll look at scale of patterns. So this small scale, medium scale, and large scale. And depending on your clothing personality and also the size and shape of your body, that might dictate what patterns are going to feel best on you. And then same with the handbags here. So depending on your clothing personality and your body, you might feel more comfortable with a square handbag or this more rounded handbag.
That's mine. So
Yeah, the ingenue's still going. Yep.
So
Okay.
here's how you can get in touch with Rebecca, because the whole idea is for you to celebrate who you are.
Exactly.
And then you walk into your life confident, even if it's a Saturday morning having a cup of coffee
That's right.
on the front porch. houseofcolorwiththeu.com is her website. Phone number is 770-317-3091. And the office is over on Manufacturers Road.
It is.
I wish I had the courage to wear your coat.
You can borrow it.
Thanks.